Welcome to Perspectives Online and on air from WFSU Public Media. I'm Tom Flanigan, and this program using the Zoom platform pre-recorded on Tuesday, December 15th for playback on Thursday, December 17th. The show appearing on both WFSU FM and on our WFSU Public Media Facebook page. Oh boy, welcome to our last Perspectives program of 2020. I hear cheers resonating all over the place. Certainly, there are a lot of pressing issues and matters that we could discuss, but we thought kind of a positive, maybe more uplifting topic might be more appropriate at this point. So we had decided the topic should be how our area's business and nonprofit arenas have responded to the unprecedented challenges that we have been encountering this year. So we'll talk with several folks who are kind of laboring in those trenches and also explore how all of us can help and reinforce our own community to help to move this rebound along, if you will. So let's meet the panel. Boy, we got a lot of neat people here. We welcome back Cristina Paredes, who is Director of the Office of Economic Vitality for Tallahassee and Leon County. Cristina, it is wonderful to see you amongst the group here as we get ready to close out what many people have referred to as a I don't know, a hemorrhoid of a year, if I can even use that term, but it's been different. Thanks for coming on, Cristina.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks for having us, and thanks for highlighting this very important topic today.
It is our pleasure for sure, Cristina. Now, a gentleman that we talked about when he first took over the job not too long ago has joined us too, the new executive director of Domi Station, but no stranger to anyone who's been in Tallahassee for any more than 15 or 20 years, and that is Bill Lickson. You're looking good, Bill. It's been a while.
Thanks, Tom. Yes, I've been around the block. I think I started at WFSU at 1979. So that, and I was in high school then. So I'm thrilled to be on the show and thrilled to highlight local entrepreneurs and entrepreneurship. So thanks for having me on.
It is our pleasure for sure, sir. And again, welcome back to our airwaves here. Jeri Madden, if you drop by Jeri's Midtown Cafe, you see this lady working so hard because she is the proprietor of same. Jeri Madden joins us on Perspectives. Thank you, Jeri.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be on as well.
Another entrepreneur here, formerly a stalwart at Florida A&M University, and then stepped out on his own, now president of Mega Ace Media, Vaughn Wilson. Vaughn, welcome to Perspectives. Good to have you, sir.
Thank you for having me. The last time I was at the WFSU building was in the late 80s. It was an Easter egg hunt, and Big Bird did not show up, and the Big Bird costume was there, so I played Big Bird for an Easter egg hunt right there on Potsdamer Road.
I'm thinking of some future promotional stuff here.
I've retired the Big Bird. I've retired the Big Bird acting career.
Let's see. Well, there's an awful lot of Sesame Street characters we haven't even talked about, Vaughn. So I don't know. Just keep your options open. We'll speak more about it. And finally, we welcome back to the airwaves Barbara Westcott, CEO and founder of Swell Coin, Women Wednesdays, and relentless promoter of Shopping Local. Hi, Barbara. Good to see you.
It's good to see you too, and it's great to be here, especially to talk about the amazing businesses and entrepreneurs that we have right here in Tallahassee.
Of which we have a plethora. So let's get the overview here from Cristina Paredes, if we could here. A lot of communities, in fact, I was just watching something on TV earlier this week. A lot of people very upset that New York City was going into another kind of lockdown because of their COVID problem up there. We have kind of been able to avoid that, at least thus far, Cristina. So looking overall, how are our local businesses here in Tallahassee, Leon County faring?
Well, Tom, as you mentioned when you kicked us off, this has been a challenging year for all of our local businesses. Many have had to take a look at their operations and how they're going to innovate and move forward. I think hearing from Jeri and Vaughn are going to be two excellent stories on how local businesses have had to pivot and be innovative on their business operations. I know Bill deals with the entrepreneurs every day. We have been seeing a growth in entrepreneurial ventures across the country and in our community. I think this year, all of our partners working together have helped support over 107 new entrepreneurial ventures. And, it's been a roller coaster of a year for all of us. And, the Office of Economic Vitality has just tried to play a small role in helping to support our local businesses, whether that's through the grant programs that we were able to help with, or encouraging people and reminding people the importance of shopping local. Barbara's a huge, a believer in that and pushes that all the time. And, we join her every holiday season to encourage people to shop Tally and love your local businesses. And we think that's all part of just embracing Tallahassee community and giving everybody a, kind of a virtual hug that we all need to make it through this 2020 pandemic.
Thanks, Christina. I sure want to give Barbara and Bill an opportunity to talk a little bit about that entrepreneurial initiative that we're dealing with. But Jeri Madden, you already jumped into that ocean, if you will, with your Midtown Cafe thing. And while so many eateries and other places have been struggling here, how have you been doing, and how have you been able to kind of keep the wheels on the track for your operation?
So I've been able to do it because we did get a lot of local love. I also kind of put my money where my mouth is too by getting rid of all of the big third-party delivery services and really partnered with all of my local friends, such as Tallahassee Foodies with Jennifer Leal. She was a huge supporter of all of the local restaurants and eateries here in town and really championed for us creating all of those blitzes that she did on the Facebook page. And also partnering with her and 223 Agency with a company called Bite Heist that was local here. And being able to hire back more of my staff to be delivery drivers and to get the curbside takeaway going on, because I went from less than 2% of my sales in to-go and delivery to 100% of them in delivery when we were initially shut down. So it forced me to kind of step out of my comfort zone. But like I said, I just kind of rallied. I stayed positive. I relied on my local community, my local partners and friends here to help me get that program started so that I could hire back more of my staff so that they now deliver. I got rid of all the big guys and do my own delivery so that we could keep those dollars local here in Leon County. So it was fun to see. And we're doing really well. I mean, really the only part right now of my business lacking is my catering sales. They're just smaller parties, but that's okay.
Yeah, and that's going to be kind of across the board because events went away to a large degree. Well, speaking of events, one event that we have to a very large degree in this community is tied into the nonprofit sector, which something, again, before we jump back into commercial stuff, Barbara Westcott, you have been setting that up too, so that not only commercial for-profit businesses, but also nonprofit organizations can interconnect, form partnerships, lean on each other. Hey, you got this, and I need that. Can we do a swap? It's, those sorts of things are happening across the board now.
Right, I think they are. And I think what Jeri just alluded to, talking about Tallahassee Foodies and other organizations, is that we just can't possibly do this alone, any of us. And we need each other. And whether that's people deciding to wear a mask so we can, stay a vibrant and healthy community, or partnering up with people, and Jeri sourcing stuff locally. I think everything that all of us can do, whether a for-profit business or a nonprofit, is critically important. And to that end, one of the things we're doing, whether with, I do shop, tally, and Women Wednesdays. And in either case, I want to do whatever I can to support people and organizations across our community. So one of the things that came up with tomorrow with Women Wednesdays is we're highlighting Carly with the sharing tree. And she's facing some challenges right now, but the idea is, what can we source from the community? We know we can't do it alone. We have a great and growing entrepreneurial community, so let's use it. Let's come up with some ideas. Let's see what we can do from us to help businesses in our community. So that's what we're going to be talking about tomorrow. What kind of ideas can we all have to help, organizations in our community?
Another good example of that, though, Vaughn Wilson, falls right into your bailiwick, which is places that before had a physical presence, the old brick and mortar. Hey, we have a Facebook page. Look how proactive and advanced we are. And suddenly you're into this situation where you need a lot of content on multiple platforms, and there is a ton of competition out there. Is that where you can come in and help provide a leg up to organizations that may not know exactly how to do this effectively?
Absolutely. And first of all, thank you for having me on. But yes, that is where my company came in, where I evolved to. I mean, I started out doing events, and much like everyone else, the events went away. I had a full calendar for 2020 after stepping out from being the director of media relations for FAMU Athletics for the last 10 years. In July 1st of 2019, I felt it was time to step out and to use my talents for my own business, to be able to spend more time with family, but obviously just to expand more. And then, the shutdown came in early 2020 and a full calendar went to zero. Festivals, weddings, receptions, everything went to zero. So I had to evolve myself and take a step back. And that's where the Tallahassee Office of Economic Vitality saved me with their encouraging emails. I got a grant from them, which I never expected to get. And those things helped me refocus my business. And the first thing I started doing, the first business that came to me were churches. They were very confused in how do we operate? So I spent a lot of time in local churches and in Gadsden County, putting systems where they could broadcast remotely. And from there, all of the other products that I was able to offer came from there.
That is intriguing, because we've seen that transition happen, not just in the faith community, but also in the arts. You talk to the folks over at COCA, and so many performances and virtual art galleries are going up. And, we're going to need more network capacity. I can just see it coming on. And if anyone has participated in like a Zoom call like we are doing here for Perspectives, and everybody suddenly freezes, you know what's going on there. Bill Lickson, one thing we want to unfreeze, though, are possibilities for people who maybe are looking at a second or third act in life. As you remember, and most folks on this call remember, when Tallahassee was primarily state government oriented, you came here to work as an information specialist for the Department of Revenue or something, and you got that nice state job with a pension, a nice retirement, health care, all that kind of thing. Those jobs, while still available, are not out there to the degree that they were. And so with you at DOMI and some of the other entrepreneurial incubators out there, how are you helping people reimagine themselves and find new opportunities?
Thanks, Tom. I think, as the rest of the panel has sort of identified, the key to entrepreneurship is solving problems. And so the challenge of COVID has inspired entrepreneurial thinking or intrapreneurial thinking. So figuring out how to survive and thrive. And DOMI's core curriculum is now virtual, as is the Tallahassee Mentor Network, which I'll make a quick side plug for that. Everyone on this call would be fantastic mentors. And one of the keys to successful entrepreneurship is to study your weaknesses and find mentors to shore up those gaps. So we would invite all of you to become mentors in the network. So what we have done is we have helped entrepreneurs solve their current problems and or look down the road to see how they can change their business to make the most of the current situation and be well positioned for the future.
The Office of Economic Vitality, and I'm glad you name checked here Christina and her folks, can also help to maybe identify what is needed, because there are opportunities that are out there and lines of business that are perhaps not tapped in this area the way that they could be. Christina, how do you do that? Someone comes and says, hey, what does this area need that maybe I can start a business to plug into to take advantage of that?
Well, Tom, we do several things here. One of those is if you're interested in a certain area of town, we're able to run a market analysis report showing the comings and goings of a particular shopping center or area that you may be interested in locating your business. We also have a wealth of expertise on the staff that can assist you if you're a woman or minority-owned business. We have somebody here too that combs through and every day is looking for new grant opportunities or new funding opportunities that are out there and available. We keep a list of that for people should they ask for that along those lines or need new ways of reaching out. We're also working with the FAMU Credit Union as you know, per Leon County government to set up a new micro lending program. And we also worked with the Appalachian Regional Planning Council to set one up as well. Both of those are about $1 million micro lending opportunities to help support our small businesses in those areas. And that's just kind of the tip of the iceberg on what we can do if you're in a position to be expanding, which surprisingly enough, we do have several businesses that are looking to expand their operations, even in the midst of the difficulties that this year has held. We're there to assist them in finding that new location for their business and what they may need as far as connecting into the workforce opportunities that exist here as well.
That's helpful because, and Jeri Madden, you can talk to this maybe a little bit. We have seen a number of even legacy businesses in this area go under because of what we're going through, and certainly local businesses, but also some pretty prodigious national chains are having a devil of a time, and we see those empty storefronts as well. How have you been able to succeed or at least keep on keeping on where others have failed?
So I think that a large part of my success has to do with number one, being able to accept that help from the local community, like I mentioned before. But also one of my big things is, you know, customer service, customer service, customer service. I mean, when you walk into my cafe, I want everybody to kind of feel like they're getting, you know, a hug. So even the dishwasher kind of stops what he's doing and says, you know, welcome to Jeri's. And so I just I just think everybody feels like they're, you know, they're part of the cafe. And so I think that's where we kind of separate ourselves, is that everybody feels welcome. My staff is so excited to see everybody there. I really empower the staff as well to feel like the cafe is theirs, you know, where if somebody is having a problem or does have a problem, I allow my staff to kind of solve that problem immediately instead of saying, let me go get Jeri or let me go ask for a manager. So employee empowerment's been huge as well. So that and just staying positive. I mean, that's all I got at this point, you know, and I've also kind of, you know, resided to the fact of, you know, I mean, if we were to go under, I mean, c'est la vie, I'd try something else. So I love Tallahassee. I actually moved up here because I had such a wonderful experience at FSU with band camp. So I just knew, hey, I got to get to Tallahassee. So I came up here in 2002 and stayed and built a life here. So it's been wonderful.
A cafe and band camp. That's an
Yeah,
interesting
I know.
combination.
I
like
know.
that.
Well, it was the hospitality industry that put me through college, and I had such a good time doing it. I actually did not figure out what I wanted to do until I grew up, and didn't get a degree actually until I was 29. So I was having fun.
Yeah, but as you described, you are still in the hospitality industry, very, very much so.
Oh, yes, in every aspect. And I got to work all segments of the industry and had a great time, but restaurants were always my calling. So that's why I got back into it.
Barbara Westcott, Jeri's idea here on customer service as a unique positioner for local business. That sounds like something that you have been pushing really hard on too. You may not be able to compete directly on price if you are going up against, the Amazons of the world or whatever, but you can have something else that is just as, if not more valuable to the consumer than purely the bottom line of that purchase.
Well, absolutely. And I'm thinking when Jeri was talking, how much she loves her customers. And I know OEV just did a program called Love Your Local. And I think, the funding and stuff that's been there for businesses, I think we also have to take a look at us as consumers and the choices we're making and deciding what kind of community do we want to have and supporting what our vision is for that. So I think, coming back to the customer, how can we love our local businesses and what do we want to see for our community? What can we do about it? But really making a pledge and taking the step to keep more funding and spending in our own community. It's a good thing to do if you care about the vibrancy of your community, you care about the value of the homes, you care about opportunity for everybody. Where you put your investment dollars is where that impact's going to be felt. So I think having that impact felt by a business like Jeri's that absolutely loves their customers is a great way to spend your money. And it's going to take all of us. We are in a time where Amazon is really increasing their sales. I mean, they've just gone up, a ton, whether it's, Walmart or Target online, but we can also spend locally. We can shop locally online. There's just so much we could do if we make our mind up to do it.
Once again, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, you're absolutely right. That consumer mindset. Both my boys happened to be at the office the day we got the yard signs, the Love Your Local signs. And now every time we go somewhere, they're like, Mommy, we should go in there. They have a Love Your Local sign out. And so, just kind of remembering that, that's important. And they see that as young, they're young. But for every dollar that we spend here in our community, 67 cents stays right here. And you're not helping just supporting a major corporation. You're supporting people like Jeri and Vaughn and, all the businesses that you work with through Swellcoin, Barbara. I mean, it makes a big difference. You're shopping with your neighbor, you're shopping with your friends. Just taking that time and going into that store. And a lot of stores here locally too have pivoted and taken their operations online. I think, Jeri, you mentioned how innovative you had to get by getting rid of those third parties. And I think you use a Bite Heist app now, is that right?
Yeah, that's who it's through, which 223 agency locally here, helped create that. But, they were able to create an app for me. So I'm on like the iTunes store, you can download Jeri's Midtown Cafe and order, and everybody said it's so easy and they love it. They can do pickup or delivery. And the fees are, not what you would pay with those big third-party companies. And I was just really, really proud of the fact that I was able to get that accomplished, as well as people going right onto my website to do that. And it's just something that I would have never thought that I would have in a million years, And so, and I've been able to partner with a business partner upstairs in the old Lucy and Leo's space. And we've got a coffee shop up there now in the local bookstore. So it just, I feel like when you put those kind of good, positive vibes out into the universe and into your community, I think people really see that and they turn around and they do want to continue to support you, and they see how important it is to shop locally, whether it's in the food industry and with local retail as well. And I love to see all of Barbara's posts and everything that she does. It gets me all excited.
Yeah,
they-
and I think when we're doing that, we're supporting local, but we're also building the community we want to live in. 'Cause
exactly.
I want to have places, you know, all these local places and these great different variety of things. And so if I want it, I have to support it.
Exactly. And I think too that a lot of people from all of the initiatives, I always like to look for the silver lining in things. And throughout the COVID pandemic, even me being a resident here for almost 20 years and building a life here, I'm also rediscovering Tallahassee for the first time as well, just because everybody has, had to come out and kind of recreate themselves, so the local parks, the trails, the running, local shops, meeting new people in my industry that I don't think I ever would have had the chance to do so. So it's been really nice.
Facilitating, though, that kind of encounter is your job, Vaughn, because once you are in the great cybersphere, everybody is kind of equal, whether you are a multi-billion-dollar destination or you are a small town like Tallahassee is kind of trying to return to get that kind of intimate, everybody knows everybody feel, and you have that really positive vibe about the city rather than, nobody knows anybody. How do you make a business or a nonprofit or any of your clients unique and able to compete head to head with millions and billions of other websites and content providers out there?
I'm going to answer that question, but I'm going to piggyback off of the last statement that everyone was making. I also had to reinvent my business, which meant an absolutely completely new set of equipment, which some was offered here. Very, very little parts of it was here. A lot of it I did have to order online. But I decided that every cable that I could get locally with 4acre Electronics, I would go to Apple Yard Drive and go to 4acre and the nice people there and buy every cable that I needed, from there. And I had to buy thousands and thousands of feet of different cable, HDMI, SDI, and all those cables. So I did understand that just walking in Walmart to get an HDMI cable, that money would leave. But if I go to 4acre, just as Christina said, it would stay here a while. But one of the things that I'm very, very proud of is that we were able to take the Tallahassee Turkey Trot virtual this year. Now, everyone knows there are 5,000 to 6,000 people at the Tallahassee Turkey Trot every year. And David and Mary Jean Yon somehow from the broadcasts that I'd been doing, they asked for a meeting with me, and they were not enthused. They thought that they would just take a year off of the Tallahassee Turkey Trot. Well, I participated in Turkey Trot every year for probably the last 10 years. So I came in with the fire that, no, we're not going to stop. We're going to do a hybrid. We're going to figure it out. And through using GPS applications, all of the runners ran virtually. I pre-recorded some segments, some of the entertainment that was along the route for the Tallahassee Turkey Trot. And we even FaceTimed and Zoomed in some actual runners during the time. So it didn't happen in Southwood the way it does. It happened all over. But we were able to bring all of that technology in and actually show families getting ready to run, families running, talk to them on FaceTime and pulled all of those in. To me, that's the crown glory of the crown jewel of what we were able to do. That was probably the most difficult. But, along with that, OEV, which I keep tooting their horn, but not only did they help me, my business, to change directions during this pandemic, they hired me. And from them hiring me to do an award ceremony from there, I was hired to do other meetings for OEV. I've got a full calendar for this year. And then from doing the OEV, the CRA called, and I actually did a CRA committee meeting last week. So it's been a great thing to see the city and the area circulate around local businesses. They've been my biggest supporter, and now they're some of my biggest clients.
And that's something that we didn't have even just a few short years ago. There were a few people who were savvy about how to do this sort of thing, but not to the extent that you have now had to become because of the changing circumstances with so many things, including this program, going virtual.
Absolutely. And as I say, I did not know I was learning these things. One of the last things I learned over the last 2 years at FAMU, I was the ESPN3 producer for football games. So that is actually where I got the knowledge to figure out how to take a live event into the virtual world. Just didn't know that I would be dependent so heavily on that technology and assisting so many different venues and functions. I've even had to do a few funeral services. So you're talking about, because people can't gather at funerals, and there have been some popular people that I've had to go actually figure out how to go out to a grave site and broadcast and be as invisible as possible, you know, because of the sanctity of the ceremony. So it is about reinventing yourself, adapting yourself and your skills to whatever the task requires.
Nice transition here to Bill Lickson and Domi Station. Still a lot of the original goal, purpose, function of Domi continues from the day it was founded. But Bill, it's had to undergo some changes too. Talk about those, if you would.
Yeah, I'll echo. I think Vaughn illustrated, and Jeri, everybody has illustrated this entrepreneurial thinking, which is, if not doing it's not an option, how do we get it done? And so that spirit is driving entrepreneurs. I wanted to also make a quick comment related to the OEV and its role. And Christina and the team have been instrumental in creating the same spirit of cooperation across the entire entrepreneurial ecosystem. And as somebody that has been around the entrepreneurial ecosystem for about a decade, from a cooperative perspective, it's never been better. We're working closely with FSU, FAMU, TCC, Innovation Park, Jim Moran, INI, the Institute for Nonprofit Innovation. So everything from a community perspective is getting better for entrepreneurs. You take a look at what Innovation Park is doing with their wet lab. As a community, we'll work together to fill up that wet lab with technical entrepreneurs. So I just wanted to express from an ecosystem perspective, the spirit of cooperation we're seeing never better.
Christina, you've been name checked again. And I like the change in lighting. It's sort of moody. It's nice.
We still see you, Christina. You're okay.
If I stay still too long, lights go out. Thank you. I just thank you all for all your kind words about the work of our office. You hear me say repeatedly, and Barbara and Bill both mentioned that it takes all of us to really help support our local economy and help it grow the way it does. And it's not a one-person job, and it's not a one-office job. It's an all of us job. And by changing our consumer habits, to supporting and loving our local businesses, to mentoring an entrepreneur, choosing Jeri's a local restaurant instead of a chain, and working with Vaughn, who is greatly as we've had these hybrid meetings, all that is so important. And you just got to expand a little outside your traditional comfort zone and discover something new that's here in our community, because there's so many new things here that I didn't even know as we go around trying to see what is here locally for to experience. So I guess that's a big thing. I'd encourage everybody listening today to try something new, try a new local business, go to a new local shop. Because again, every dollar you spend, 67 cents stays right here in our local economy.
I'm surprised at the number of people who don't really fully comprehend, even if they have lived here in this town for extended periods of time. Perhaps were even born here, which seems incomprehensible, but you will find them at different places that they have just discovered.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know we had a little French pastry shop in town. Well, actually, it's been through a move and it's downtown. It used to be up north. And we have that, and we have a downtown market. We have all these other things. Barbara Westcott, do you see that as really maybe the secret to success, that we need to have more interconnectivity, which is something that, of course, you have been really involved with in trying to make sure that everybody knows what everyone else is doing and what they need and how they can expand their operations. How do we do that better so that we have more plugged in people who know what is available out there?
Well, I think, I mean, it's really exciting, like, just getting Domi off the ground when this community decided they wanted to build an entrepreneurial ecosystem. I think, originally I've sort of looked at that more singularly, like in my own way of growing as an entrepreneur, but I realize how much more important it is that we just grow an entire entrepreneurial community that's there to support each other, but also to see it in themselves that they're a part of the solution, whether it's to become an entrepreneur themselves or be a part of the ecosystem that supports other entrepreneurs. But I think, we have everything we need right here, all across our community for, like we say, the all 7 hills of Tallahassee. There's some incredible people here that can really have impact all the way across our community.
And promotion for you, Jeri Madden, again, since you are up against in your particular line of work, some pretty heavy hitters, even in this time of COVID. What kind of effective marketing and outreach venues seem to work best for what you do?
So social media, of course, has been huge for me, with getting my name out there and working with the local sign shops. And then also I work with a local girl here in town that creates like awesome videos for me, but also just reaching out to not even just the venues, but people like OEV with Christina. They've been huge with giving me the grants that I needed to, and also, them supporting my business. I just did a lunch for them earlier this month too. So, of course, I don't have the big marketing budget that all these big guys have, but I've also had the local community, even like with 223 Agency. Once again, I want to give them another shout out too, because they've been huge and instrumental with helping me with my marketing, to get the name out there as well, and doing it for nothing really, just because I've been such a huge supporter of them. So it's kind of been, a scratch my back, I'll scratch yours, but just support all the way around with everyone. It's been great to get to be a part of that local ecosystem, local community. Yeah.
And you just brought up another massive resource that we have in this community that sometimes is not completely tapped. Yes, you're right. The folks with the big budgets will always have that kind of expertise at their disposal. But Vaughn Wilson, back to you again. You've got the technical prowess. You have a lot of the marketing savvy on that. But we also have, if you don't have it, there's a bunch of people who do. When you look at the communications people, the Karen Moores and the Rick Oppenheims and the Ron Sachs and all these other people who have, in some cases, national agency horsepower here in this community. And that may be something else that we can continue to leverage. I mean, yeah, some of those guys are kind of expensive, but maybe they can, I don't know, cut a deal for the locals. It's a possibility.
Well, I have continued to also partner with smaller businesses. The CRA meeting was massive. They needed a massive amount of microphones. I went to a small guy that had a production company who's been hit, because all of his events have canceled, and he's ecstatic to have the business. So that mindset is very important. And speaking of keeping the money in the community, if I can, I grew up in Tallahassee. I played baseball all the years growing up. And for some reason, it seems like my whole little league was sponsored by plumbers here. White Plumbing, Keith Lawson Plumbing. And those, I long for the day that I'm able to sponsor a team and have my company's name on the back. And so those types of things, as I got older and realized, wait a minute, these were not national companies. These were just local businesses that supported our Little League all those years I played, so, and bought our uniforms, so I want to continue that and hope to not only just make money and make a living through this community, but also support it. So it is true. If you support local, if you support local businesses, you support the local economy.
Well, and I was going to say, I think Vaughn raises a good point. Another way to say what you're saying too is that to think of micro businesses. A lot of times you're thinking of great big organizations, but today with technology or different opportunities or skills that you can learn at Domi Station, a micro solopreneur can actually do incredible things. So like, just having a mindset for people across the spectrum that you can source locally. There's quite a bit of talent there, and really you can do so affordably.
Bill Lickson, have you done the econometrics on that, just how many success stories have come out of Domi Station and what that has meant to this community for those who remain here? They make their enterprise home here and generate income and jobs and all that for the community.
Yeah, that's exactly right. As a matter of fact, since Domi launched, the local economic combined impacts were in excess of $109 million in terms of payrolls, jobs, investment, sales, revenue, and those kinds of things. So Domi is focused on underserved communities and small solopreneurs and entrepreneurs. And we're also, as you mentioned, working with companies that are taking the footprint that they have in Tallahassee and are scaling nationally. Divvy Up was just featured in the New York Times as one of the best stocking stuffers. And we have several examples of companies that are taking the success that they've had or an idea for a pivot to try to take what they've built in Tallahassee and extend it nationally. One additional comment with the digital skill sets that Vaughn is helping companies with, and we're all having to master, it's given incubators and accelerators a unique opportunity to connect worldwide subject matter experts to our local entrepreneurs. Just because you don't still live in Tallahassee doesn't mean you don't love Tallahassee and want to be a part of growing our regional ecosystem. And with the reputation that Domi has built over time, we're also seeing cohorts join Domi from outside the area, which is another advantage of connecting mentors, mentees, and entrepreneurship. We have 2 companies in the Central Florida area. We just onboarded a technical company in the Panama City area that spun up with 2 Navy veterans. So it's exciting to see Tallahassee recognized more broadly as a place to problem solve, either start or grow a business.
And Christina Paredes, isn't that not the hallmark of economic development, where local success can breed national recognition and more success?
Absolutely. And it's very exciting anytime we hear of a company here that was founded in Tallahassee break into the national spotlight. There's so many of them whose market area isn't dependent just on our community, but across the nation. A lot of IT companies who are actively hiring folks as well in that space have really been able to make an impact across the country on the services that they provide.
Right, when you mentioned Divvy Up Socks, I just want to mention Divvy Up also just had a strategic partnership with a startup from Tallahassee called Kitschy Wearable Art.
Yes.
So it's really, the impact, they might be seen, nationwide, but they're also having worldwide actually, Divvy Up, but they're also taking a local startup and partnering with them and bringing their product to their audience, which is really cool.
And the Guy Harvey Socks Foundation, they've got a partnership with them that was born out of the Power Forward conference that First Commerce sponsors every year. So those local connections being made there, like Barbara mentioned, makes a big difference, and support, and everybody supporting each other.
Folks, we only have a few more minutes to go in this edition of Perspectives. It has been just a fascinating conversation. I wanted to give everyone an opportunity to kind of get some final thoughts in here, and maybe even look ahead to a new year of entrepreneurship and hopefully more local success, and people going, hey, I don't have to buy from across the country. I can go down the street and get something even neater and cooler and more customer service oriented. So speaking of which, let's start with you, Jeri Madden. What's some final thoughts from you as we get ready to wrap this up?
I just want to say, thank you to Tallahassee. I think everybody kind of has seen that we're, in our own little bubble here, and have just been able to rally. And just because of the local community and everybody that's in it, we've been able to survive. And on behalf of, me and all of my fellow restaurant owners and local business owners, we want to say thank you. And thanks to you, Tom and Christina and Bill and Vaughn and Barbara and everybody for just also, helping everyone rally around us. So thank you.
Thank you, Jeri. Vaughn Wilson, some of your thoughts, sir, please.
Well, my first thought is I'm going to Jerry's as soon as I get off of here to get a sandwich. I'm just getting hungry thinking about it. But,
we're open till 3.
I would, trust me, I'll be there way before 3, as soon as I get off of here. But anyway, I would like to say that, when I graduated from the School of Business at FAMU, the trend was to go into corporate America. But I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I always loved Tallahassee, and I thought it was and still think it's a great place to raise a family. Unfortunately, sometimes it takes tragedy for us to always realize what we have. And I think businesses during this pandemic and through these situations realize we're not always in competition, but we're actually better when we collaborate.
Good thought. Bill Lickson from DOMA, your turn, sir.
Yeah, that was a beautiful thought. And in that spirit of cooperation, we would invite the community, if you have an idea for a business, if you're challenged, you need to grow your business, come see us at DOMI. We are a nonprofit. And with that, we've been able to, through the generosity of OEV, Knight Foundation, Envision, and Veterans Florida, we now have a handful of scholarships that we can put entrepreneurs or businesses that are looking to pivot and change through all DOMI's curriculum at no cost. And we're taking applications now. 2 other things quickly. We were selected by HubSpot as the HubSpot startup partner. And the day before yesterday, we got word from Google that we'll be in a similar program with Google. And so we've got unique content and resources that are available to the whole community. So if you're challenged, give us a call. We want to be helpful to help you survive and thrive.
Congratulations on those latest accolades. I'm sure there will be more to come, Bill. Thanks so much. Barbara Westcott.
I think for all of us to see ourselves as part of Team Tallahassee. I mean, we have everything here we need to make Tallahassee great. And let's build the city we want to live in, whether that's supporting the businesses that are here or creating our own. Each of us have it in it to do so. So let's just, make it happen.
And we get our final word from Christina Paredes.
Tom, remember to love your local, support your local businesses, shop Tally. And you can find out more information through our website, through Barbara's. And if you are interested in a local business yourself and getting one of our Love Your Local signs, we worked with the current agency to help brand it this year. Let us know. We have plenty of them and would love to give you one to help show everybody that you are a local business here to Tallahassee, Leon County.
And remember, those Love Your Local signs are not subject to the same ordinances as political signs. You can keep them up as long as you want, right?
Yes, yes.
Christina Paredes, Director of the Office of Economic Vitality for Tallahassee, Leon County. Bill Lickson, Executive Director of DOMI Station. Jeri Madden, proprietor of Jeri's Midtown Cafe, which is where Vaughn Wilson, president of Mega Ace Media, is going to be headed momentarily. And Barbara Westcott, CEO and founder of Swell Coin Women Wednesdays and shopping local guru of our community. Thank you all for taking part in this end of year perspectives. And please, folks, remember, if you need something before you go far afield, check out what is available right here in the hometown. You will probably find a much better deal and certainly friendlier people than perhaps you might elsewhere. Thanks for joining us for this Perspectives, produced by WFSU Public Media in Tallahassee. Our thanks going out to Taylor Cox, Paul Dam, Amy Diaz de Villegas, Brandon Brown, Tricia Moynihan, and Lydell Rawls, our director of content. Kim Kelling is executive producer of the show. And I'm Tom Flanigan. We'll be back the first week of January to roll out another year of Perspectives on air and online from WFSU Public Media. May you and yours have a peaceful, fulfilling, and happy holiday season. Take care.